It has been 6 days now since President Trump won re-election, and Democrats are still having a hard time grasping with what happened, despite it being the most predictable outcome of the election. We knew Joe Biden wasn't going to be able to run because he wasn't mentally fit, and we knew they were going to replace him with Kamala Harris. So despite this being the most predictable outcome ever, the Democrats are not taking it well. Why? Because they have been stuck in a propaganda echo chamber for so long. They have lost any and all ability to reason, act rationally, or even understand what's going on the other side. They're stuck in these echo chambers that are constantly telling them what they want to hear, regardless of whether or not it's true, because most of the time it isn't. They are shocked when the most predictable outcome happens and they can't emotionally handle it. That's the problem. It's like watching someone who's been brainwashed come to terms with realizing that their entire life is a lie and they can't figure it out. So I'm going to go through both some clips of people celebrating and some commentary here on the election, and then go back to watching the Democrats have a complete meltdown. So this should be fun. All right, let's go ahead with Celebration.
Back me up, go all in, by Joe Biden. I gotta win, save the country from sin. I won't never slack up, get your money back up. Try and cuss my voter and you're bound to get smacked up. Get up, stand up, throw your MAGA hats up. If you got the feeling, Kamala's unappealing. Trump's got the hot flow, Dems are talking junk though. I got shot in my ears, certify me as the GOAT, yo. Working, chat to, peeps in the car, saw me serve more fries than lies from the voters are. DJT, sure enough in the lead, and if great switch of on, I'm in the prissy.
That's right. You got people of both genders, all races, all ages, celebrating still that Trump won and won good. And it was such a landslide that the Democrats have nothing to go on. They're going to try and say, oh, we're not going to certify the election. Really? Based off of what? What do you have? What could you possibly come up with to try and stop the Trump from taking office? I just want to know that. What are you going to do? Is it going to be like last time where you have all these celebrities go off and go to the Electoral College and say, hey, you could choose to vote for somebody else? Are they going to try that again? But look, there is a great piece of commentary that I saw that really highlights probably why the Democrats didn't have a chance in this election. Why it is that they had failed, and why no one was falling for the BS that was Kamala Harris. And it's not the end-all be-all of commentaries by any means, but it does really go through and point out just how hypocritical the Democrats are, just how much they have been exposed as complete frauds and phonies. And that commentary is this.
Crazy how we get a female presidential candidate and all of a sudden feminism comes back from the dead after 4 years of being told that any man on the planet can be a woman.
Yes, that right there is just one of the many points about why the Democrats had lost. They went off and they ran a woman president, a woman candidate for president, and a woman of color. And yet they couldn't square that circle about how they've been saying for all this time that men can be women. Women is just a social construct. They don't actually exist. And then come election time, oh, it's the first woman president. You must vote for him. That's what we get here. That is the type of analysis that we can go through, one of many, about why the Democrats had lost, why they didn't have a chance. It was also the fact that they spent all this time basically saying America is trash, everyone's horrible, everyone is racist. I mean, you're going off and you're telling people that parents at school board meetings who are upset that the schools are putting porn in elementary school libraries and calling them terrorists. You're going off and saying, oh, Christians, they're white nationalists and terrorists. You basically called everybody who ever disagreed with you about anything terrorists, white supremacists. You pushed everybody out of the party. And then you couldn't stop at just trying to demonize white people. You went after all men, which means black men, Hispanic men, Asian men, and just said, if you're a man, you're horrible. And then going off and attacking women by saying, oh, men, though, they can decide to be women and compete in women's sports, take the trophies, take the scholarships, take all the opportunities. Basically, you set up a system in which leftist men could pretty much take everything away from women and then wonder why women voted against you. Now, the copium on the left is just sky high. So you got a couple of things that are going on. You got the very angry people, and then you got the people who are just coping, hoping for America to fail under Trump so that they could try and say, I told you so, such as this.
We're all seeing these Trump supporters brag and gloat about Donald Trump winning the election. If you have MAGA family members and friends, they're probably rubbing it in your face right now. But here's the thing. There's going to be a moment of reckoning for these Trump supporters because everything's about to get more expensive because of Donald Trump. Trump said that as soon as he takes the office, he's going to be implementing a 10 to 20% tariff on everything coming into the United States. So everything you buy.
Yes, that's right. Everything's going to get more expensive under President Trump because of tariffs or because of his economic policies. There's just a couple of things here. One, we've already had a term of President Trump, and it was great. We had an economic boom, record low unemployment, rising wages, and a peaceful international community. And you're going to go off and say, oh, but in the second term isn't going to be like the first term, which was so great. It's going to be horrible. There's going to be all this record high prices and cost of living going up. And wait a minute. Didn't that just happen? Didn't that just happen over the last 4 years under the Biden-Harris administration, where we saw the price of groceries skyrocket up, where we saw the cost of living get outrageous, where we saw everything that they're trying to say is going to happen under President Trump already happened under the Biden-Harris administration. And then you're going through and trying to convince people that despite how horrible, what a complete dumpster fire the last 4 years were, that somehow under Trump, that's the way it's going to be, as if that's not the way it already is. And that we're supposed to forget about how great the first term was. See, they're going off and they're really trying to cope. They're really trying to say, I hope he fails this time. And we could say, I told you so. What do you want to say? What do you want me to say here about this? The self-delusion. They're going off and all of these left-wing, influencers are trying to find a way to save their audience, because a lot of their audience has decided to leave, realizing that they've been BS'd when they were going off and being told Kamala's going to win with 350 electoral votes, 340 electoral votes. Yeah. And they're going, the data backs us up and all the science. And now they're trying to find excuses. They're trying to do copium. They're trying to feed into their audience, telling them not what's actually going to happen in the truth, but just what they want to believe so that they can feel better about already being lied to. And to feel better about being lied to, they just want to be lied to some more. It's that echo chamber. But luckily, the echo chamber is being eradicated. It's being brought down. Trump recently came out and he has decided that he's going to end censorship on the internet. He's going to tackle, Section 320 or 230 of the Communication Decency Act, eliminating political censorship on the internet, that if your account gets suspended, they must provide you an exact reason and give you timely appeals process. Yes, that is right. They're going to go through and provide an internet bill of rights in order to prevent the left from being able to engage in the censorship that they did back in 2020, that they did throughout the Biden administration. Yes, he is taking that all down, taking it all away, restoring free speech, which is then going to go through and allow us to finally penetrate the left-wing echo chambers and get some truth to them. And that is something that the Democrats are deathly afraid of. What's going to happen when the echo chambers are no more and actual facts can get to the leftists? How many more will convert over to conservatism? Or at least, vote against the Democrats for being god-awful and trash. I mean, we've all seen the videos of people coming out talking about how they were Democrats, and then once they left the Democrat Party, what did they realize? They realized that, hey, while they were Democrats and they disagreed with the Republicans never really trashed them. They'd be like, okay, agree to disagree, or trying to argue on the facts. But once they left the Democrat Party and had a different viewpoint from the Democrats, what happened? Oh, the Democrats viciously attacked them. The tolerant left. The tolerant left that goes through and says, anybody who disagrees with us, you're horrible, you're evil, you're racist, you're Nazi. And then they're going off and talking about they need to have a blue bracelet or a tattoo or something to show that they voted for Harris, that they are safe. Yeah. What other regime throughout history decided to engage in censorship and trying to say that people of certain beliefs had to wear something in public to show it? I don't know. I'm drawing a blank here. Why don't you let me know in the comments down below? But as the Democrats are trying to figure out how to cope with the loss, they really go off and show and highlight who they really are, which is why they lost, such as this.
I would purchase a Glock, and if you and I are walking on the same street and it's dark out and you're a white male, you have to be white for this to count, okay? If you're a white male, even if you don't approach me, I will shoot you. Yeah, I know. And you have to have very white skin and be a male.
Yes, that is right. That is right. The Democrats going off and saying, oh, because you voted against us, we're going to kill you. We're going to go off and we're going to attack you viciously. That's the left. You either do everything they say as if you're a servant, as if you have no rights, free will, or any sense of freedom. You will do what they say, or you will be physically attacked. You will be harmed. They are going to make sure that they do to you what they delusionally think that you're, by voting Republican, are somehow a threat to them. So they're going to be a threat to you. But this is the way they always are. Do what we say, or we're going to violently attack you. That's the left. That is how they operate. That is how they've always been, at least for the last 15 years. And they can't figure out why people are going, wait a minute, you're supposed to be the tolerant party, and yet you're constantly threatening violence against anybody who disagrees with you on absolutely anything. And then, of course, they got to go off and they got to pretend like it's somehow justified, like it's somehow self-defense, blah, 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 blah. All right? Or you get this person.
There is a highly trained professional assassin out there right now, and you have one job.
Yes. Once again, they're going back and they're calling for assassinations, just like they did back in Trump's first term, where they used assassination porn in order to get their jollies off. And then they came out upset that Trump survived the assassination attempt. You do understand that when you put this on the internet, everybody can see it. And then it gets shared and broadcasted, and it exposes you for who and what you really are. I mean, you got, on the one hand, Trump is offering for unity to pay off the debt of the Harris campaign. That's right. What was it? Someone said that she raised $1 billion and ended up $20 million in debt and lost. And Trump is offering to help out the Democrats for the sake of unity. He doesn't have to do that. He could just be silent and go, not my problem. But he's going off and doing that while they, on the left, are threatening violence and hoping and praying and advocating for someone to make another assassination attempt. You understand, people see this and they go, wait a minute, your words about being tolerant and accepting and being high-minded for political debates and how you act when you lose or come across anybody who disagrees with you doesn't quite line up, shall we say. Basically, they know you're full of crap. And the more you expose yourself for who and what you really are, the better and easier it is for us to make the case as to who the actual tolerant party is and has always been. But, of course, the left will never learn because they're going to dig in and they're going to trench in to their echo chambers even further. They're going to come up with more excuses, more reasons. They're going to tell you, don't listen to anything. Don't listen at all. Don't even have a conversation about it with anyone. Yeah, that's it. You're going to learn from your mistakes by declaring that you were always right all along, and anybody who disagreed with you and voted the other way is horrible, and I'm sure that's going to bring them back, right? Like, case in point.
Trump, you're racist, you're a fascist, you're a Nazi, you hate America, you hate women, you hate democracy. I'm sorry for your mom. It is evident that a Trump supporter has never read a book, probably doesn't have that comprehension, has never written a coherent sentence ever. Do not waste your breath on these people. Anytime that you're talking to a Donald Trump supporter, just call him a Nazi, call him a fascist, keep it moving. These people are beyond the right of education. Trump supporters are the equivalent to dirt to me. I would spit on you, but I would not waste the DNA on someone like they are ruining America. I'm not letting that happen. We be the people.
Yeah, that's basically your typical leftist. So here it is. They have no argument. They can't even explain what they believe in. They can't even explain why they believe the other side is horrible. All they have is, I believe this because I was told to believe this. You disagree with me. We're not going to have a conversation because, and then they resort to the name calling. That's it. They are mindless. And yet, this guy is further proof that the Democrats accuse the Republicans of that which the Democrats are guilty of. This guy has no intelligence, I would believe, by the mere fact that he would say that anyone who dares disagrees with him somehow is uneducated, can't read, or, just complete dirt. And yet he doesn't actually know what he believes in. He doesn't know why he supports any policies. He's a mindless sheep. And like a mindless sheep, the fact that things did not go his way, despite the fact that he was told that somehow it would, he's angry. So he's going to throw a temper tantrum. He's going to engage in all this name calling. And yet he can't back it up with anything. No logic, no reasoning, no nothing. So you got a bunch of empty platitudes, a lot of hypocrisy where their words don't match their action, lots of threats of violence, and they blame everyone as being racist and sexist and so forth. Boy, I can't imagine why you might have trouble in 2026 midterms. Just saying, you're not exactly going about this a smart way. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back again soon.